Welcome back for another little ride. This is going to be a follow-up ride to report back on how my miles per gallon tests went. And I have a little surprise to also share with everyone as well on this. And then I may not be posting any videos for a while. I'm going to Canada to visit my son, his wife, and the grandkids. And I'm not going to have, riding time, and I'm not taking the Navi to Canada with me. Although I'm sure I could get it in the trunk of the car and take it. So today we're just going to ride out through some of the farmlands of Syracuse, just to kind of see how the fields and the animals are doing while we talk. So on the first video, or the last video I posted, I had mentioned that I was getting 62 gallons or 62 miles per tank, or how I deemed it, 62 miles before I hit the fuel reserve and had to switch into the reserve. I have since found out that that means I can go 20 to 22 miles on the reserve before my tank is bone dry. So 20 to 22 miles on the reserve. So if you take that 62 and you take 22, I got 84 miles per tank full, and that was using the OEM windscreen that I had at the time. And then I put the Givi screen on. That's what I was riding around with the last video. And I got a combination of 89 miles per gallon, or per tank full. And that was pretty cool. And then test number 2, I got 94 miles per tank full. And what a lot of that is my riding was slower. I don't think I ever got over 40 miles an hour, and just kind of kept it on these back roads like what we're on right now. Top speeds, 35 I think, or 30. And then I did another round, and I got a total of 94. And again, that was just the slow rides, the back roads, where I'm at now, kind of thing. Just trying to basically burn up my gas so I could calculate. And then my final test, I took the scooter out to Antelope Island, which I've posted many pictures. That's where I do the hill tests and everything. And I got 82 miles per tank. So it dropped, and the reason why it dropped, I'm pretty sure, is because I was doing faster speeds, and so I was full throttle on a lot of that ride. And here's the big surpriser. I know it surprised me. Is when I was doing that final test and I was riding out to Antelope Island, the causeway is 7 miles, speed limit is 50 miles an hour. I hit 52 miles an hour, and I didn't even really know it. I was just driving along, things were feeling good. I looked down at my speedometer and it's like, holy crap, I'm doing 52 miles an hour. That never has happened. And I rode around out there a little bit, found some bighorn sheep that I'd never seen out there before. Just did kind of my little scenic ride. I did not go pull the one big hill, but I just rode around. And then I came home. And on the causeway, I hit 52 miles an hour again, which means it was not a wind thing. I was going west first and then east on the return, and I was able to hit it, and I was able to hit it comfortably. And when I mean comfortably, I mean I just didn't even really notice that I hit it. It just felt good. The bike felt good. Usually when I'm trying to pull 45, 48, I mean, you know it, man. The bike's straining. You can tell you're like throttling hard. Your wrist is getting sore, kind of thing. And I didn't have any of that. It was just wonderful. And I really think that this windscreen is really kind of the key to all of that. I am not getting any wind resistance into my chest at all with it, so the drag has got to be reduced. And even though my miles per gallon, if you look at all of those numbers, because you've got to have a 10% fudge factor, right? Because I may not have got the tank completely full like I did the last time, etc., etc. Maybe there was some more hill, maybe there was some more winds, so you got to have a fudge factor in there. And so I can comfortably say that I'm getting 84 miles to a tank full comfortably. I certainly wouldn't push the reserve past 20 miles because, again, wind, hills, whatever. You want to be safe, not sorry. So 84 miles. I know the advertised miles per gallon is 100 or 110 or something like that. I don't know what it is, but I don't know anybody that's hitting that. Again, I'm at higher elevation. I'm pretty sure that when we drop down to the lower elevation, it will probably go up a little bit. But I think 84 is fine. I think 84 is great. But I also think that it's really great that I could hit 52 comfortably without a strain. And again, is that a real big deal for me? No, because most of my roads are 40 miles an hour or less. I do have a couple of 45ers, but you always want to have that safety number in there so that if you have to give a little more throttle to do something, you can. But I was actually just really taken back on just how smooth the bike did it. Where before, with the no windshield or the OEM windshield, it just really felt like I was really taxing it. So that was my surprise, and I'm happy with that, a little result. And I'm really happy with my setup right now. Anybody who gets one of these, and I see them for sale all the time on Facebook, 50 miles, 100 miles, 200 miles. This is like anything else in your life. You have to put time in. You have to get comfortable with it. You have to make your little adjustments to fit your riding styles, your comfort, all of those things. And it could take months. It might even take a year. And once you get that all dialed in, you can really start to enjoy your experiences. And I think that's kind of where I'm at right now. The windshield was kind of the last little hurrah, the last little comfort piece for me. And it just sounds good, it runs good, it's smooth, it accelerates great. It's just a real pleasure to ride. Now, I'm not saying everybody needs to run out and do all these modifications a lot of us are doing, and you probably don't need to do any if you don't want to, but you do need to put some time in. You need to become one with the machine and know how it's going to respond and know how it's going to react and know how you're going to handle it, and then it all all comes together. I am pretty fortunate to live in this area where, you know, there's no cars on the roads out here, and, you know, I'm not a farmer by any means, but it's kind of fun to see the fields, see the animals. And I even enjoy taking routes through neighborhoods just to see what people's yards look like and how they planted and what they're growing, and it's just that's my kind of riding now. I know a lot of people get rid of these because they get bored with them, and I can see that. You know, if you're young, it's a great starter bike. It's a great bike to beat up, let your kids beat up while they're learning. You know, take it camping, trash it, and when you're done, you're not out a whole lot of money. For others like me, I've been around the block. I mean, I got my first motorcycle at 7, so, you know, I've had my share, and now I just want to enjoy the ride. I don't care if I shift. Actually, sometimes shifting becomes a real annoyance after a lot of miles. I just want to get on, meditate with my eyes open and not closed, and just enjoy the experience. I'm out here doing this. My wife is home sewing. That's what brings her joy. And we're both doing something we like to do. And I go home and tell her what I've seen, and it's exciting to her. So as I had mentioned earlier, I ride out at Antelope Island a lot. And this last ride, I didn't see any buffalo, but they move around. I just didn't go all the way around the island. They have like 550 herd of buffalo out there. And there's also antelope, and I've seen antelope several times. I've seen a coyote. Actually, I've seen 2 coyotes. But I have never seen the elusive bighorn sheep. I always thought they were up higher, and when we hike out there, you know, we just never got high enough to see them. But these 2 were just right along the road. The pictures I shot weren't very good because I couldn't really get up close enough. But it was really exciting. I've never seen them in all of my years, and I've been out here 30 plus years. Never seen the bighorn sheep. And also, while I was out there, I took the old Navi off the beaten trail onto the dirt roads. I haven't done that yet, and I want to say that it did very, very well on the dirt road. And I can also tell you now, with more experience with my new YSS shock, it handled the washboard of the dirt roads very well. I didn't get beat to death. I didn't have to stand up to get relief. I just rode through, and I did it at, you know, 25 miles an hour, I think. And it was a pleasure. And so I'm actually looking forward to doing a little more of that kind of riding. So I'll probably do that each time I go out there right now. The stock tires did fine. I didn't slip and slide. I know everybody hates the stock tires, and, you know, I'm on the bandwagon with the hate the stock tires thing too. But I haven't had a reason to hate them other than my grooved cement roads. I have not slipped. I have not had the problem in the dirt. They seem to grip fine for my kind of riding, and they even grip well on the tar snakes. And I've had a lot of bikes slip on me on the tar snakes, and we're in the 90s now, so I mean the tar snakes are in full slick mode, and I had no problems whatsoever with these tires. So I will replace them. It's not high on my priority list right now. Again, I'm going to kind of wait and see what my new riding train is going to be like in our new area, which we will find out next month. And I will base that on what kind of tires I get, I think. So I don't know. I think that's a pretty exciting report. Totally unsurprised, or totally surprised about the hitting the extra speed and just how easy it felt. And honestly, I do contribute it to just being this windscreen. I just think I'm no longer the dead weight being drug. That it's breaking the air up around me so that it can actually do its thing. Didn't really impact my miles per gallon. I know a lot of people think that you're either going to increase your miles per gallon or you're going to decrease it. To me, it doesn't really look like it changed, and I don't know if 2 or 3 miles per gallon or per tank difference is even anything to talk about. So that's the report on those things.